Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Let's Go Racing Motorsports Report. I am Mike Babicz, your host, and boy, do we have a busy show for you tonight, so let's get right to it. First of all, we want to thank the folks that get us on the air each and every week. B&L Office Furniture, Scott Carpenter does an awesome job, and we appreciate all of his support, supplying us with our in-home studio here. Also, Game Day Men's Health of Libertyville and from Kenosha, Steve Sinclair and the Bumper to Bumper IRA Outlaw Sprint Cars. They have a very busy weekend this weekend. On Friday night, they are going to be at the Plymouth Dirt Track on the Sheboygan County Fairgrounds for Fair Night. That's their county fair going on up there. And it'll be the Bumper to Bumper IRA Outlaw Sprint Cars as well as the Midwest Sprint Association 360 Sprinters this Friday night up there. On Saturday night, the IRA 410 cars head over to Beaver Dam Raceway in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin for what is possibly the last IRA event ever to be held at that facility. It is slated to be sold and will not be a racetrack after this year, is what all the plans are that we understand. Jim Whipperforth Memorial and the Harry Neitzel Tribute will be taking place on Saturday night at Beaver Dam. Besides the 410 Winged Outlaw Sprint Cars, the Midwest Sprint Association MSA 360 Sprints, as well as the Lightning Sprints will all be in action on Saturday night. And then on Sunday, the IRA makes a trip up north to Door County to Sturgeon Bay at the Hill Raceway, it's called. It'll be the Bumper to Bumper IRA Sprint Cars and the Autometer powered by Gandrud Performance Wisconsin Wingless Sprint Cars on Sunday night. Also on Sunday night at Angel Park in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin is the traditional Firemen's Nationals for the USAC Nationals Midgets as well as the Badger Midgets. That'll all be this Sunday. So a lot of racing going on Sunday, and also on Sunday is going to be at Slinger Speedway. It's going to be their season championships on the asphalt there. And just this last Sunday night, they had a little bit of rain at Slinger, but scoring the win was Brad J.J. Miller, scoring the victory up there in the Alan Kowicki Memorial. So had a lot of fun watching that on Flow Racing. Speaking of Flow Racing, the IRA events and the Badger Midget events are all going to be on Flow Racing this weekend if you can't make it out to the racetrack, but we certainly do encourage you to do so. Great Lakes Dragway is also going to be a busy place this weekend. On Saturday, they have their huge Labor Day Spectacular, and we're going to talk to John Reidenbach in a little bit about that big event that's coming up. Of course, we want to thank our folks at Pink Roofing. Pink Roofing does a lot to help auto racing in the area, and they also have done a lot to help Kathy and myself with some roof repair work and actually installing a new roof and gutters on our house here in Antioch. If you need help, contact Pink Roofing. They'll take good care of you. Fox Lake Harbor, Force One Performance Parts also help us out. The Hunt Club of Richmond. It will be on Thursday night, and correct me if I've got the wrong date, but I'm pretty sure it's Thursday night, the, 27th, 28th, we think it is, Thursday night, September the 28th. 28th doesn't sound right. But anyway, it'll be the last Thursday night coming up that'll be at the Hunt Club of Richmond. We're going to have a car show, and we're going to broadcast live our program from there that Thursday night. Actually, I believe it's the 20. We'll get the date right. Dates all run together. I know Wilmot closes its season out on the 13th. The 21st is the car show at Culvers of Paddock Lake. And I want to show you that flyer. And that's cruising for Custard. And that will be on Monday. And I'll get a little closer, September the 22nd. So it'd be the 25th that we'll be going out to the Hunt Club of Richmond. And also another event that's coming up on September 20th is the Jim Wildman Watson, as soon as I get it positioned correctly here. And that is going to be up at the Plymouth Dirt Track, an event that's always put on by Nick Simons, and I'll be calling a lot of the action up there along with Matt Panier. I'll be calling the action for the Dirt Kings Wabam late models, and that is on Saturday, September the 20th, sponsored in part by MLS Auto Clinic and Extreme Transportation. So we got a lot of racing coming up, that's for sure. Bumper to Bumper of Midwest region also helps us out and has a lot of little giveaways that we'll be having at some of the events that we'll be at as the season winds down. Bodycraft of Antioch, Mark and Tony Maglio. The Black Knight was out at LaSalle this last weekend, and this coming weekend it will be, we're not sure where it's going to be yet. It's still figuring out its schedule. And also we mentioned LaSalle Speedway, and it was Jordan Julian, one of our past guests here on the program, won his first career IRA feature last Saturday night out there at LaSalle in the Bill Waite Junior Memorial that we talked to Tony Izzo about. It was just a great event out there, and Julian, 16 years young, scoring his first career IRA feature win. And just a great show out there. I was actually listening to it. Kathy and I were on Flow Racing as we drove back from Sycamore, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Sycamore event a little bit later on in the show. MLS Auto Clinic, Eddie and Debbie Boyd also helping us out. Goodwin Performance, Hartnell Chevrolet, Culvers of Paddock Lake, we just mentioned. Jack's Helmets, Jack Eschbach, past guest on our program, and he does a lot of helmets for a lot of drivers. Kaylee Burns of Rebel Bell Salon in Kansasville, Midwest Motor Coach, Olson Transportation. Rob Olson celebrating a birthday this last weekend. Happy birthday to Rob. And also a big thank you from Lake County Honor Flight and the John Davis Jr. Memorial Golf Outing as Rob Olson and Midwest Motor Coach Olson Transportation took care of underwriting all of the awards for that event. So we want to thank Rob for all of his support over the years. A-Main Apparel and Diecast, Garrett Tennyson, Thomas Guard IT, John Hatterline, attorney at law, Cabins on the Lake in Friendship, Wisconsin, 5-Star Race Car Bodies, Carl and Corey Schultz and Daniel Sanchez, Impressions Count here in Antioch, and also Nikki Nielsen. For all your real estate needs, contact Nikki Nielsen. And we also want to thank Bassan's Tree Service. They've been doing a great job helping us out here in our backyard with our huge weeping willow that has now gotten a nice trim. So we appreciate Bassan's Tree Service that has helped us out with that. Another supporter of us, and we're going to bring her in right now is because she's part of the family, is Lake County Hose and Equipment. Bill Fusting and his family has been involved with racing for a long time. Personal friends of mine for a long time. Got to meet him around racing back at the old Waukegan Speedway days. And also we want to thank Goodwin Performance. They are also one of our sponsors. But Lake County Hose and Equipment, Bill is en route to Indianapolis, but already in Indianapolis, and we're going to bring her in from the green room, is Kimbra Fusting. And Kimbra, welcome to the program, and tell us a little bit about what's going to be coming up this weekend at Indianapolis. And I know mom and dad, and maybe brother, I don't know who else heading down. I know they're traveling because we couldn't get dad on the program, but he says, well, Kimbra could probably do it because she's already there.
Yeah. Well, first off, thanks, Mike, for having me on. Yes, so I am sitting in the motorhome in Indianapolis right now. This week is the U.S. Nationals, so the big go is happening on this week. So we start running on Wednesday. We'll have 3 time runs on Wednesday, and then we go into first round early Thursday morning. So I came straight from Bowling Green, Kentucky on Sunday night, and have been here ever since. So,
and now when you say the different rounds in that, how many rounds are you quote guaranteed, and then how many rounds do you need to make the finals and maybe win the whole event?
Yeah, well, you're guaranteed 1 round because it's single round elimination. So you always get to go to first round, but you have to win every round after that to get to the next one. I believe we will need to run 6 rounds for this race.
And when will the finals be, on Saturday or Sunday this coming Labor Day weekend, or Monday?
They're actually on Monday. Yeah, they run the semifinals and the finals on Monday.
Okay, and what track exactly are you at?
Lucas Oil, Indianapolis Raceway Park is where they hold this. So.
Okay, and is there an asphalt oval track there too, I believe?
Yep, there is. The trucks, NASCAR trucks still run on it.
Yeah, the trucks run on it, and isn't that where Thursday Night Thunder was kind of born when they started racing on ESPN for quite a number of years?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I know that was probably before you were born, but
well, I listen to
some
all
guy
the
named
NASCAR
Tony
podcasts.
Stewart used to
like
run
to
a midget there on Thursday nights, and everybody used to get all excited because he always looked pretty sharp on Thursday nights from Indianapolis Raceway Park. Lucas Oil hadn't gotten involved yet. Right. And speaking of Lucas, I understand the founder of Lucas Oil passed away this last weekend, and so I'm sure they'll be doing things to remember him throughout this weekend at the Nationals. What kind of car, Kimbra, are you running on? Are you running in one car and your dad's running another, and maybe your brother's running another? I don't know who's all got cars down there.
Yeah, so for this weekend it'll just be me. I run a dragster in a class called Super Comp, so it's an 8.9 second index. When Joey's here, he was actually in Bowling Green last weekend, but he's not here he's not running this week. He is running his S10 truck in a class called Super Gas, and that's a 9.9 second index. So, and then when my dad races, it's more of a just match racing type stuff. And he runs a Fiat Topolino. So.
And that's a nostalgia drag.
Yes, it is very,
very. We won't put him in the senior category yet, but that's. I know John is going to be on here shortly and is listening in from the green room. He, he loves to razz your dad from time to time. So.
Oh, I bet it's good for him.
There you go. What got you interested in racing and keeps you interested in racing now?
So I grew up going to Wilmot watching Joe Rowe, my uncle, race. And so I always wanted to run, I wanted to get into a mini sprint, and then eventually into sprint cars. But then my dad came home and said, what about this junior dragster over here? Because his best friend told him it was a cheap family sport. And so they got us into, and he was actually looking to get Joey involved in something because I was in sports and everything like that. So, and when my dad came home and asked Joey about it, at first he didn't want anything to do with it. And so I said, well, I'll do it. And my mom's like, great, let's put her in something else. And then a year later, Joey decided it was okay. So we've been doing it for 31 years now.
Wow. And, I remember the junior dragsters when Broadway Bob first got them going there at Great Lakes Dragway. You guys had to be up there at like the break of dawn on Saturday mornings. The junior dragsters always raced at like 8 o'clock in the morning or some ungodly time.
Yeah. Yeah. We had to get done before the points race.
Right. And then all the big cars come out later on. and that. But from what I understand, the junior dragsters, and we'll confirm this with John, is still alive and well at Great Lakes. They still run them. I believe they still run first or early. I believe that some of them might even be running this weekend. There's a little bit of everything running this weekend at Great Lakes Dragway. It's always been a big event on Labor Day, and I know you're at a big event there in Indy. But if you weren't at Indy, you'd probably be at Great Lakes either as a fan or racing.
Yeah, I would have been up there with my dad, but since I'm here, he's coming down here, not going there. So.
Who are folks that you want to thank that help you get to the racetrack and get you from Bowling Green, Kentucky to Indianapolis, Indiana, all in the same week?
Well, for sure, my family, my mom and dad, they're the reason that we're doing this. My brother, he does a lot of work behind the scenes and helps at the racetrack and things like that. My wife, Peyton, she is actually en route with my parents. On their way down here right now. She makes sure that I get out the door and is taking care of stuff at home so that I can, be on the road for 12 days in a motorhome. So, but then on top of that, just my sponsors, Lake County Hose and Equipment, McIlvain Race Cars, Dean McIlvain. I follow the circuit with him all over the place, so he's just a huge help to us. We have Diamond Racing Engines on board this year. We have ATD for our transmissions, and then we also have Hughes Performance that does our converters. So I feel like we have a pretty good setup this year. So hopefully we can do all right down here.
Now, when you're not driving a race car, I know, I think the last time we had you on, I even brought this up, so I'll bring it up again. I ran into you because you I think you still are, an athletic trainer. You were at Highland Park High School when the night I ran into you when I was there to referee a girls' basketball game.
Yep.
Are you still an athletic trainer, and are you assigned to a specific school, or do you kind of move around?
So I am an athletic trainer, but I'm a manager of athletic training services for Athletico Physical Therapy now. So I oversee a pretty decent sized region. It spans all the way from like Rockford down to Oswego, Aurora type area. So I have 18 athletic trainers under me at this point. So yeah, they keep me pretty busy.
So, I would wonder, are you hiring like everybody else is hiring? So if there's somebody out there interested in getting involved in athletic training, they could reach out to you?
Absolutely. Yeah. In my region specifically, knock on wood, I am finally staffed after 7 years, but we still have plenty of openings at Athletico around the Chicagoland area. So yeah, definitely reach out.
Just go to athletico.com, I would presume, or?
Yep. Yeah. So if you go to athletico.com, there's a tab with careers that you can look up all of our open positions. Or you can even email me, kimbra.fusting@athletico.com, and I can get you contacted with whoever I need to contact you to.
All righty. Well, we know that you got some other commitments this evening, but we mentioned earlier, I don't know if you heard it, but a lot of the Interstate Racing Association, the sprint cars, even the lightning sprints that you one time aspired to be driving, are going to be racing this weekend and will be on Flow Racing. So folks can watch them on their cell phone, on their computer, what have you. Are your runs going to be on any kind of broadcast or podcast type thing?
Yeah, they're going to be on nhra.tv.
nhra.tv. I'm going to jot that down. ra.tv. I'm going to have to get like 14 TV screens to be able to watch everything I need to watch this weekend.
Yeah, for sure.
Kimbra, it's always good to see you. We wish you the very best this weekend, and hopefully you can bring home some hardware. But if nothing else, just have a lot of fun this weekend in Indianapolis.
All right, will do. Thanks again for having me on.
Yep. Say hello to the family and also to your brother if he decides to show up.
Yeah, for sure. I will.
Take care, Kimbra.
All right.
God bless. Bye-bye. And that was Kimbra Fusting joining us from Indianapolis. Well, we're going to stick with drag racing, and we're going to bring in John Reidenbach. John is with Great Lakes Dragway and the Brew City Gassers. He knows Kimbra. He knows her dad. He knows her brother. He knows probably the whole family. And welcome to the program. And we were mentioning, John, that they've got, of course, a big event, the Nationals down there at Lucas Oil. But Great Lakes Dragaway has a busy weekend this weekend, as they always do Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, we're trying something different this year, too. Normally, the show is the big show, which it always is. It's still going to be on Saturday, but we're going to do something tomorrow on Friday. We're going to do a kind of like a sneak peek for the Time Machine Nationals. So we're going to have some of the cars that are going to be running on Saturday. Like one of the things we have new this year for the Time Machine Nationals is we have this extreme top fuel front engine dragsters, Jimmy Young's group of people, and they're some fast sub 6 second quarter mile dragsters, and they're going to be doing a couple qualifying passes on Friday. We're going to have the Tough Jet. Funny Car, he's going to make a hit or two, and Chainsaw Chuck, the wheel stander, and the Chevy Rebellion, he's going to be there. Our Bruce City Gasser group will make some passes. The 1320 Legends will be making some passes. Nostalgia Super Stocks Pro E85, Midwest Nostalgia Pro Stocks, and Classic American Muscle Car Association. We're going to do kind of a soft, small show on Friday. Gates are going to open at around 10 o'clock, and then we're going to do some time runs from around noon, and then the feature is about 5 o'clock tomorrow night. And we're going to be doing that on Friday, and then the big show on Saturday. So we're going to try something a little different. A lot of people travel, for the weekend, and it's just that instead of having to just wait to do the event on Saturday, we'll give them some, put a show on, a little bit of a show on Friday and see how that works.
What time are things going to get going on Friday?
Friday, the gates are going to be open at 10 o'clock. We're going to be doing some time runs around noon, and then the feature show will be at 5 o'clock with all the groups going.
Okay, and then that means you're going to try to get done so that you guys can do a little partying, because I know if you're going to, if Randy and the gang are going to keep up Broadway Bob's tradition, there's a lot of partying on Labor Day weekend at Great Lakes Dragaway, and it'll start on Friday night, I'm sure.
And the other good thing is the weather looks like it's going to be only maybe 71, 72 degrees, no humidity, and that's going to be some high horsepower weather. So there should be some pretty good runs on the weekend. But yeah, I'm sure people will be hanging out at the Torque Alley Tap Friday night after the racing is over.
And now Saturday, you mentioned, kind of the big show being on Saturday. Most of the finals then scheduled for Saturday late afternoon, evening.
Yeah, Saturday the gates will open at 9 o'clock. We're going to do some testing to it in the morning. The feature show starts at about 3 o'clock. So we're going to have the front engine Nostalgia Nitro Dragsters on Saturday, which that's a great group to watch. The same groups that I'd mentioned before. The Pro E85 will be doing that. Chicago Wise Guys will be there Saturday. Nostalgia Super Stocks. We're going to also have our the 1320s, our Bruce City Gasser groups, Chevy Rebellion Wheel Stander, some Jets. And I don't know exactly what Jets are scheduled to go in there, but we're also going to have Arnie the Farmer Beswick with his Tameless Tiger for a special guest. So there should be quite a bit to see on Friday and Saturday.
And, of course, the Jets, they usually make some runs in the daytime, which is impressive. But I'm just encouraging folks, if at all possible, be there Saturday night to see those Jets and when it's dark. And it is getting, we're getting to be closer and closer to fall here. So it's getting dark a little bit earlier, but they are something else to see when they go down the quarter mile there at night.
Yeah, especially when you see, a couple of them 300 miles an hour in a quarter mile. That's pretty impressive from a standing stop, and to get them stopped, make sure those parachutes work. But that's, it's a good show, and it's there'll be a lot to see for sure.
That's for sure. And the nice thing about it too that I like about drag racing, and I've been around oval tracks more than drag racing, I'll admit, but it's the accessibility. After you're done making a 300 mile an hour run, in a jet dragster, a few minutes after it gets in the turnaround at the far end and comes back, it's coming back right by the fans.
Yeah, that's the great thing about Great Lakes Dragway. I always say that, but having that return road right in front of the grandstands is really neat for the fans, and for us too as the drivers. You see this crowd and get to see them up close. Then they can walk and follow you right into the pits and start talking to you. Look at your cars. I also wanted to mention tomorrow and Friday is just an open test and tune day for people that want to run. It's not like it's going to be a a closed event, and it's an early bird day also for coming in, but for parking. But Friday night will be a normal testing to it if somebody wanted to come in and run their cars too. So it's should be quite a few things going on, and then we still got a lot of things on the schedule in the month to follow. So there's a lot of things coming up.
That's for sure, and I'm going to keep pounding this until it happens. The snowmobile drags on the clay. They're coming up in. Do you have a definite date now? I know we were pretty sure we had the date down in October. Do we have a definite date that they're coming now?
Not exactly for sure. I will find that out for you before next week, though. I will. I'll talk to Randy tomorrow and see what exact date that they have down that they've agreed on. But that is cool. That'll definitely be going on, and then. I'm thinking it might be around the October 3rd or 4th, I should say, on that Saturday. I don't know for sure, but I think they did it last year at the same time we had the Wisconsin Outlaw Street Finals, which will be the Outlaw Series will be on the 4th, and that I think is what the date is, but I'll make sure on that.
Now you've become our Wisconsin Department of Transportation on the spot reporter on the progress on KR. Yeah. Where are we at now with KR? Is it finally done and everything open?
Yes, it is. KR is done. The lines are on. Everything is done. It's nice and smooth, and it's open. I just drove down it yesterday. In fact, I'm checking from I-94 all the way down, and everything is good. Nice and smooth, nice and wide. It's really nice, but it's loaded with dump trucks continuously during the week here. It's unbelievable. There's probably 50 dump trucks going back. I don't know where they're working, what project they're on, but it's loaded with dump trucks. Yeah.
Well, that's probably why they had to resurface it. And
right. Yeah.
They'll probably be resurfacing it again in another 5 years.
Yeah, exactly. They're definitely breaking it in because it's like I couldn't believe how many were going down the road there.
Now, last weekend, we missed you being with us because you were racing. So give the folks a little update on how John did racing last week.
Yeah, so that was kind of a last-minute deal. I'm sorry about that. That kind of like, hey, last weekend at Cordova Drag Strip, they do once a year, they do their World Series of Drag Racing, and that's the oldest continuously running drag race that's been going 71 years. And another group that we race with, the Nostalgia Gasser Racing Association, we kind of partner up with those guys and we do some elimination races. We'll be with them in 2 weeks down in Havana, a good group of guys. And they said, hey, we could use 4 of you guys if you want to come down. And I thought, I've never raced at that event. So me and a few of our other Brew City Gasser racers went down there and we had a great time. It's they do a big bracket race during the day, and then the main show starts at like 5 o'clock. But they had nitro dragsters, nitro funny cars, nitro motorcycles, jets, wheel standers. They had the whole gambit there. And Saturday, it was unbelievable the crowd that they pack in there. I mean, there was over 10,000 people there, and it was both sides of the track were packed. So we did a couple rounds, one on Friday and Saturday. We kind of got bumped back because they had so many cars to go, but it was fun enjoying the show. And car ran pretty good Saturday. The air was cool. I ran like an 868, 154 miles an hour, which is pretty good. But yeah, the car was running good, and I got some maintenance to do on it before tomorrow, Friday. I got to do an oil change tonight and check some things out. But yeah, it's going to be the car's going to get a lot of miles, and so is my motorhome. But we're having fun.
Well, we just had Kimbra Fusting on from a motorhome because she's getting her car ready for the Nationals down there at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Have you ever been there, and have you ever run there?
Been there for the Nationals and actually watched them, but I've never run there yet. And, that's kind of the neat thing. It's nice to go to different tracks. I'd like to get down there and race at that track. And I'm sure that'll be on the list maybe next year to try to get down there for something. Going to miss Billy this weekend, because I know he's down there with her. He usually races. This is one of the events with the 1320s that he races, Bill Fusting. But I'm sure he'd rather be down there with his daughter watching her run.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. Now, we also mentioned, she and her brother both started in junior dragsters, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the junior dragsters are still going strong there at Great Lakes Dragway.
we just had the finals for our bracket finals last weekend, and there was over 25 junior dragsters that were there. It is really, really good. I mean, it was this last final for the bracket racing in the juniors was the most bracket racers that we've had in quite a while there for the program. You know, we added some additional ones that came up north that used to run at WIR up in Kakana, and they came down here, but there was some racers that we hadn't seen before. They came to the event to race. So it was a really, really good weekend, and it was a great weekend for the juniors.
And if folks are interested in finding out more about the junior dragsters, can they go to a certain website, or they go to Great Lakes website, or call Randy because he's going to answer the phone?
Yeah, that's it. Just call Randy, and he'll have some information on who to get to that runs the junior program out there. You know, Robin runs the regular bracket program. She does. Robin Norris does a great job at doing that, and so we're gonna. I don't know who does the junior ones, but they do have a good turnout with it. So Randy could steer you in the right direction there.
And of course, we always get an update too on the battle of the sexes. You know, Wednesdays we're starting to run out of Wednesdays before it's going to be Christmas.
Yeah, and they're going to keep doing it. They said they're going to keep running the battle of sexes as long as the track is open. And Kristen, I'm trying to get her on here with me. She's been killing the tree. She won Ladies Night again on Wednesday. I think she won Battle of the Sexes, and she also ran in the Summit Super Series this weekend for the bracket races. And she had a perfect reaction time and a 004 on the light, I believe, on one. She's doing really, really well. So I'd like to get her on here, but she's a little bashful. But it would be good to get her on here because she's really doing well for the women there on Ladies Night.
And do you know, are the ladies still leading? I think they were leading last time we talked.
They might be one behind or even. They're really, really close. But I think they're we still got a lot of racing left, so there's a chance for them to take it over for sure.
Well, that's awesome. And we're also going to remind you, I showed it earlier, but I'll show it again. We got coming up on Monday, the 22nd of September, a Monday night. So Great Lakes Dragaway is quiet. Yep. We're going to have the Cruising for Custard Motorsports and Car Show at Culver's of Paddock Lake from about 4 o'clock in the afternoon till dark, or until everybody gets their full of custard and is ready to go home. So we invite folks to bring any kind of racing out there that Monday night. We're still working on. We're probably going to do something with some kind of a not-for-profit to help them raise some funds as well that night. So, nice. John, please spread the word around with the Brew City Gassers and everybody at Great Lakes.
Sure. And another thing I wanted to mention, I almost forgot, Labor Day, which is the 1st on Monday, we're going to be open for fundraising for everybody. Instead of being closed on Monday, we're going to be closed on Tuesday, the 2nd. So if anybody wants to come out on Monday and have the weekend off and want to bring their cars out on Labor Day there, we're going to be open for fundraising on Monday.
All right. Well, we teased the Bandit ladies that were on here with us a few weeks ago about bringing their cars out and maybe even taking on the guys. So the Bandits, it's their season championship Saturday night at Wilmot. So maybe I'll mention it to them that, well, you guys are done for points now. So take the cars over to Great Lakes on Monday and have a little fun.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. That would be pretty neat. Like I say, we still got a lot of things going on. This following, coming up the next week on September 5th and 6th, we got AMC days. My buddy, I think Joe Bahachik runs that, but they're going to have a race there Friday and Saturday. So still got a couple more Outlaw series races to go to the finals. We got the big Funny Car Chaos coming at the end of the month, and big Walker races coming up in September. So we're still busy going on.
Any more RC car events?
I think they got some small ones. The big one they had going on there, I'll have to see what we have there for a finals, and they're always drifting, 2 days a week. That's pretty steady. That's going on pretty good. I just got back from there right before our podcast here. I had to work on one of the lawnmowers, so it's been a busy year for the lawnmowers. The grass was growing like crazy this year. There's those lawnmowers are really getting a workout. Yeah, the
grass and the corn. I mean, it's been unbelievable. And then last weekend, Wilmot lost its show, or not last weekend, the weekend before during the fair. They lost the Saturday show to Mother Nature, and and just about everything got rained out that weekend, 2 weekends ago. But this last weekend, it was a little bit better, a little bit nicer. The weather was a little bit cooler. We don't have a lot of racing left in the Midwest. So we want folks to get out, support that local short track. Yeah, there's been all kinds of announcements about NASCAR in the last week or so. Yeah, they're going to be back at Chicagoland's going to reopen, and they're going to run their 4th of July weekend, I think, the 4th and the 5th.
Okay.
But then now they're not running on the street. And Milwaukee had a very successful IndyCar race this last Sunday and did quite well. But there's rumors flying around. You know how you love racing rumors, John.
Sure.
That NASCAR is looking at bringing some kind of a class into Milwaukee soon. But again, the schedules are already out for 2026, so it won't be next year.
Yeah.
Once they issue their schedules, they're pretty well done.
Yeah. Right.
So, but hey, there's, and it's funny because sometimes you see piggybacked on some of the bigger events at the big tracks is local short track events. That used to happen. NASCAR weekend at Milwaukee was traditionally a big ARTCO show at Lake Geneva Raceway on Saturday night. And a lot of people from the Milwaukee Mile would go to Lake Geneva on Saturday and watch the ARTCO show on Saturday night. And sometimes they'd even get a few drivers. Mark Martin drove in that race.
Okay. Yeah.
And drivers like that, and the late Joe Shear and Dave Watson and all those guys. So there is room for everybody as long as everybody kind of works together.
Sure.
And I know you give the number because he'll answer the phone, so folks can get in touch with Great Lakes Dragaway for the latest information.
Yep. Give Randy a call at 262-878-3783.
All righty. Sounds great. And you can always go to the website too, because they do a great job there and social media. They always keep it updated as well. John, appreciate it. Wish you the best this weekend. And I keep saying it, I'm going to get out there yet. Between my high school officiating and racing, I'm getting a pretty full plate. My wife will tell you, and my honey-do list at home.
Oh yeah, I've got one of those too. That's pretty big because I've been gone every weekend racing, so I got to take care of some of that stuff. Yeah.
There you go, John. Appreciate it as always. Best of luck this weekend, and we'll look forward to talking to you next week.
Sounds good, Mike. Have a good week, and we'll see you next week.
You too. God bless. Bye-bye, John.
Bye.
John Reidenbach with our weekly updates at Great Lakes Dragaway. A couple more results that we want to pass along to you. Of course, as I mentioned, Logan Julian picking up his first career IRA feature win last Saturday night in the Bill Waite Jr. Memorial at LaSalle Speedway. And tip of the hat to Tony Izzo Jr. and the fine crew out there. I've heard a lot of good things about the facility. A lot of drivers very impressed and looking forward to when the World of Outlaws are there in October. And the Autometer powered by Gandrud Performance Wisconsin wingless sprint cars go back there. Tyler Cuxhouse picked up an unbelievable win. He went back and forth with Zach Rader during the last couple of laps and still scored the feature win, his second, I believe, of the season for him. And again, the Autometer powered by Gandrud Performance Wisconsin wingless sprint cars. They will be in action Saturday night at Wilmot. It is the Wilmot regular season championship on Saturday night for the wingless sprint cars. It's also the regular season championship for the IMCA modifieds and the bandits. Also, the Wing 604s and street stocks are all on the program. So there are 5 divisions that will be racing Saturday night at Wilmot. And then on September the 6th will be the final championship night of the year for the 1175 Sports Complex and Eatery IRA Lightning Sprints regarding the Wilmot Championship. They are also accumulating points for their traveling series. That will be decided in September at Plymouth at the Wisconsin Sprint Car Championships. Same for the Wisconsin Wingless Sprint Cars. Same for the bumper-to-bumper IRA Sprint Cars. Also on September the 6th will be the Wing 604s and the street stocks. It will be their season championship for Wilmot. And currently, the modifieds are still listed. I believe that will be a non-point show, not definite on that. But I know the IMCA Nationals in Boone are happening that weekend, and IMCA does not allow you to run a IMCA sanctioned point show when they're running their nationals at Boone. So, but so far I've seen the modifieds are still listed on September the 6th, but that may end up being a kind of an open comp show or a non-point show for IMCA at least. Also, want to give our condolences to a couple of folks that have passed away recently. Teresha Akoff, Mark Akoff's wife. Mark is Roy's Akoff's son, and Teresha was Roy's daughter-in-law. She passed away in the last couple of weeks. Roy was a longtime racer at Waukegan Speedway when I first started. Roy's Long Lake Inn was a great sponsor at Waukegan Speedway and of his race car, the old familiar number 14. So our thoughts and prayers go out to Mark on the loss of his wife. Roy passed away a few years ago, and our thoughts and prayers go out to the Akoff family. And also Bruce Young, veteran Interstate Racing Association, sprint car driver, car owner, helped with the club a lot, did a lot for Marie Winker when she had Wilmot Raceway. Just a great individual who did a lot for racing over the years, both behind the scenes and as a driver. And then his son, Scott, drove as well for a while. So he passed away this last Saturday. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the Young family. Bruce was also a veteran, and we definitely do remember our veterans always. And again, thoughts and prayers go out to the family of Bruce Young on behalf of all of us here at Let's Go Racing, and myself personally, because I knew Bruce quite well. Always remembered him as whenever I'd see him, no matter where I saw him, whether he was driving a grader or a water truck or what have you, big smile and a big wave, or driving a race car. I'd even see him in the cockpit of the car, and big smile and a big wave. So Bruce, rest in peace, buddy. Also, this last weekend, I was down at Sycamore Speedway, and thank Tiffany and her staff for all of their hospitality. It was the John Smith Memorial, and they also had a vintage midget exhibition, which certainly brought back some memories of good old Jacket Trackside Biddison calling those type of cars. And it was the it was the 1175 Sports Complex and Eatery IRA Lightning Sprints that were in action. The bodycraft of Antioch Fast Qualifier was Brian Strain Jr. with a 14.581 clocking. Brian is out of Paris, Wisconsin. The Fox Lake Harbor Presents All-Star Performance Heat Race number 1 winner was Nick Petska out of Spring Grove. The Game Day Men's Health Presents Rod End Supply Heat Race number 2 winner was Tim Branham out of Holiday Hills, Illinois. And the 25-lap feature event, finishing in 5th, was John Kirk. Finishing in 4th, Tucker Richards. 3rd, Chat Stouthammer, who also earned the Baleen Racing Equipment Hard Charger Award by improving 8 positions to take that 3rd place finish. 2nd was Nick Petska, and winner was Jacob Irwin of Genoa City, matching Logan Julian's age, 16, first-time feature winner. And it was neat to see the parade lap. Jake Doyle out of Kirkwood in the John Smith number 59. A lot of the Smith family was there. He literally used to drive his race car from his farm. That was about a half a block away from Sycamore Speedway. And he'd drive it to the track, and then he'd walk back to his farm and get his trailer because it had all of his equipment and spare parts and that kind of thing. And then he'd drive that over. So he was known for that. When Kathy and I got to town, there was a huge picnic going on at the farm, and it was just great. It was a great night of racing, and a historic one because a young man connected, of course, with Force One Performance Parts that his family all runs. Jacob Irwin scoring the win. And Jacob, we're going to bring you in now, buddy. And we've had you on before this year, and you were hoping that sometime you might get a feature win.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it came a little earlier than you thought, but you looked awesome Saturday night down there at Sycamore.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I figured it would come eventually. I had really no idea when, but it felt good to finally get in, especially at that race. I mean, that race means so much to me and my family because my car happens to be one of John's old cars. So it's pretty cool to be able to win that race and something that he previously had.
Well, and I'll tell you what, when we were talking in Victory Lane afterwards, you were saying that because we did have a yellow flag, Mark Heinert was battling for third. It seemed like you did not want to be running third. I know you didn't know as the leader what was going on behind you, but Mark Heinert spun while he was battling for third. And was Colin Sivia broke while he was running third. Chad Stouthammer, I think, was third or might have even gotten to second, and he broke. There was a lot of people right behind you, Jacob, that were braking and having all kinds of mechanical woes. But only one of them brought out the caution. But you actually admitted that you were kind of glad to see it because you needed a little breather.
Yeah, that caution was a lot of help.
So tell us what it's like when you start up there in the front and, you're leading, you see the laps winding down, or you hear on receiver, or in the case of there, you could see a scoreboard down the back straightaway if you could catch a blink at it as you're going by. But as the laps wind down, what goes through your mind? Are you concentrating on running your line, or are you worried about where everybody else might be?
I was kind of more focusing on running my line because we kind of had a plan set before we went out, and luckily during that yellow I was able to be told that I needed to change my line, so I changed my line on that restart and was able to focus on just being consistent and hitting all my marks running my line and kind of not worrying about what's going on behind me.
Now, you mentioned that you were told to kind of change your line, but receiver is a one-way communication with track officials. You don't have a radio. So did somebody kind of give you hand signals from the pits or how did you know to change your line? Or did some driver tell you? I mean, I wouldn't put it past some of the drivers in the Lightning Sprint. They want to help each other out. I don't know if they'd help out a guy that's leading, but
yeah, my dad was standing in turn 4 with most of my crew, and he was able to give me hand signals through the fence.
Okay. Is that something now, obviously during a yellow, you can kind of see it. Do you even have any idea where they are when you're actually racing and worried about, hitting your marks?
Most of the time I know where they are because they tell me, but otherwise I can't see them or anything while we're racing, not paying attention to it.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I guess it had been a while since I had seen a late model race, but the first one I saw was, I think, the last time you guys were there at Sycamore, and the wingless were there too. All of a sudden I see these guys out here with orange things and gloves and little things that you would put on, your hauler to make sure nobody bumps their head, and all these pink and yellow and, all these colorful things. And they're standing there looking like an orchestra. Now that apparently that is late models do that. Cause I did see, I saw when the two late model groups came into Wilmot, they also had them and were positioned out in the infield with them. Is that something that's ever been talked about with open wheel wing sprint cars or lightning sprints? I mean, I could just imagine, David Gravel's crew having some kind of colorful things that they're going to be. And plus, where would you stand that you'd be able to be safe to give those kind of signals to the drivers?
I know back in the day, I know I've been told that some people did like some stick stuff and had gloves, but I haven't heard much about it recently, like within the last, I don't know, probably 10 or so years.
Now, again, we had you on before, but so some of this may sound like it's repetitive. Tell the folks about how Jacob Irwin got involved in racing, who in your family raced ahead of you, and why you decided to do this, and how old you are. I mean, I mentioned you. It's kind of history for the IRA weekend. Cuxhouse needs to subtract like about 9 years or something. But Logan Julian wins his first one, 16, in a winged outlaw sprint car. You win your first one, 16. Tyler, I think, is like 25-ish, something in there, somewhere's in that neighborhood. But you guys are all young. You have a guy like Tim Cox going for the Wingless Championship this weekend, the Wilmot Wingless Championship, and he's in his 60s. So you got a little bit of everything. And you got Dennis Spitz out there in his 70s, 75. But tell the folks about how your career got going and how you keep it going.
Well, my grandpa was friends with the Mullises, Jim Mullis specifically. So my dad and uncle all grew up around the Mullises and were working on his car. And then in 2001, my dad started racing with IRA full time. So that kind of all started that. And then eventually when I was born, I eventually went to the racetrack at a month old and never stopped since. And now here I am.
There you go. Well, I'll tell you, you did look great on Saturday night there at Sycamore. This coming weekend now, you're going to be heading up north a little bit. You're going to be part of another historic event, the Jim Whipperforth Memorial and Harry Neitzel Tribute. That is going to be at Beaver Dam Raceway on Saturday night, along with your big brothers. We can call them your big brothers. The bumper-to-bumper IRA Outlaw Sprint Cars, the 410 wing cars, and the MSA 360 sprints. And it is, from all indications, going to be the last IRA event ever held at that facility. It's been pretty much publicized that this is its last year. It's not going to be a racetrack in the future. It's going to be developed into an industrial site. And so this will probably be the last IRA sanctioned event Saturday night. You were part of the John Smith this last week. And boy, I don't want to put pressure on you, but wouldn't it be nice to go back to back with two historic events in a week?
Oh, it'd be awesome to win there, especially because it'll be my first time racing there and probably the last time I'll ever race there.
And speaking of that, now you're going, Sycamore, you've had a few laps in. You've raced at Sycamore, you've seen it. Mm-hmm. Beaver Dam, you've probably seen a little bit, but like you just admitted, you haven't raced on it. What about changes for you as a driver going from Sycamore to Beaver Dam? Beaver Dam's much more banked than Sycamore, bigger. It's a third of a mile, maybe even closer to a 3/8, where Sycamore is, I think they say a third maybe, but it's probably closer to a big quarter, I would think. But your thoughts heading up there to Beaver Dam this weekend?
I don't know quite yet. We'll see how the track is when we get there, but just kind of go out there and see what happens.
And then after that weekend, I must admit I should have gotten my trusty Lightning Sprint schedule handy. But September 6th, you'll have the season championship for Lightning Sprints at Wilmot on Saturday, September the 6th. That continues to be a point show for the 1175 Sports Complex and Eatery IRA Lightning Sprints. And then on September, let's see where the Lightnings are at. Looks like on Saturday, September 13th, the season finale at Wilmot with fireworks and all that, part of the Fall Classic. The Lightning Sprints are on that program as well on that Saturday, September 13th. I don't know if you're anywhere the weekend of the 20th, but then I think the weekend of the 27th is when you finish up at Plymouth with the Wisconsin Sprint Car Championships. So you still got, about 4 races left, I think? If my math was right.
Yeah, 4 races.
And when you're not driving a race car, you're still a student. What year are you in school, and where do you go to school?
I'm a junior at Badger High School.
Junior at Badger High School. That's for folks not familiar, that's close to Lake Geneva. Actually, really close to the old Lake Geneva Raceway.
Yeah.
You could have walked there from Badger High School. And what's your favorite subject in school?
Probably metals right now. Get to build a motorcycle this year.
You get to build a motorcycle.
Yep.
Wow. Is it then going to actually start and run when you guys are done?
Yep. Running and driving mini chopper.
Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. Things have come a long way from shop class when I was in school back in the 70s.
Yeah. Last year in my sophomore year, I got Haas CNC mill certified in school.
Great. That's fantastic. So, advice that you would give to anybody out there that might be watching or listening that is interested in getting going in racing, what would you suggest to them?
Probably the best advice I could give is to listen to the people that know what they're doing.
And you mentioned that when we were talking in Victory Lane. You gave a lot of credit to your family and everybody that's helped you along the way. You were very humble in Victory Lane, and But I'll tell you, there was a lot of people very excited for you. You had a nice crowd down there. It was real big crowd down there at Sycamore. And I know the Lightnings like going there, and I'm sure they're going to be there several times again in 2026. But before we let you go, we're just about out of time. I always like to let you thank sponsors, so marketing partners that help you get to the races each week.
I got to thank Road Rage Designs, Quality Tire Service, Force One Performance Parts, Jake O'Patterney with O'Patterney Motorsports, who is currently building his team for run with Top Fuel with NHRA. Fox Lake Harbor, TUHB Quality Threads, Kaiser Wheels, my mom, firstform.com/Beth Irwin, Racing Optics.
And you better mention Grandma or you're going to be in deep doo-doo.
Yeah, Grandma does a lot, puts up with a lot of my puts up with me.
And Grandma wasn't even there to watch it. She was at Wilmot and, helping to take care of the parts trailer for Force One Performance Parts. But
Yep.
I'm not sure where she's going Saturday, if she's going to Beaver Dam or if we're going to see her at Wilmot. But I know she was probably watching on my race pass to see what was going on or was getting a cell phone report.
Yeah, we went live on Facebook through the Irwin Motorsports page on Facebook, so she was watching that.
All righty, that's great. Well, again, congratulations. It was a fun race to call. It was fun to interview you, and we wish you well this coming Saturday night up at Beaver Dam, and who knows, maybe make it 2 in a row.
Hopefully.
All right, thanks a lot, Jacob. Take care. God bless. Tell the family I said hi, and give the doggy a pat on the head. Kathy loves your dog.
Thanks for having me on, Mike.
All right. Take care, Jacob. Bye-bye.
Take care.
That was Jacob Irwin, 16 years old, a high school junior, just won his first Lightning Sprint feature at Sycamore Speedway in the John Smith Memorial, driving a car that John Smith used to drive himself. So that was pretty cool. That's going to wrap it up for this week's show. As we mentioned, there's a lot of racing going on this weekend. Get out to your local short track, whether it be Wilmot, whether it be Beaver Dam, Plymouth, Angel Park, Slinger, Sycamore's racing on Saturday. It's their season championships, I think. Also, of course, You got the hill, they call it, in Sturgeon Bay. I think I'm going to make my first trip up to that racetrack on Sunday night to call the wingless. So it's just a big, big weekend for racing. And for those of you that like straight racing, as John was saying, you got Thursday, today, this evening. You can still sneak out to Great Lakes Dragaway. Tomorrow, they're going to have some racing during the day and some test and tune as well. And then on Saturday, the big show. And then they're going to have some more racing on Sunday and even on Monday at Great Lakes Dragaway. So get out and support your local short track because without you, the great race fans, the tracks go away. So until we see you next time, this is Mike Babicz wishing you a pleasant evening, the best of tomorrows. Remember, kids, just say no to drugs. Thanks. Good night. God bless. And let's go.